Once again, welcome to the V3 implementation call. Today is May 28th. If you did not get a chance to do so and you joined a little bit after, please update your name in the participant list please update your name with your affiliation in the participant list so we can record attendance. We encourage participation. You're welcome to come off mute or use the chat feature. We review all the chat during our post-meeting debrief. To get started today, I'm going to turn it over to John Britt for a stakeholder introduction.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you're well. 1 second while I open it. All right. So, as always, I get the great joy of introducing new stakeholders. And we do this so that we get to know others on the call and we build connections and lead to collaboration and help each other. I've gotten some ideas for new hobbies. It's fun to spotlight people for a little while and just generally cool. So, again, anybody to introduce, which makes me really sad. So if you've not been introduced, or if you filled out the form but not sent me any pictures, you can click on this and go back to the form and submit a picture from the link at the very bottom. Or you can send me an email, or you can send a carrier pigeon, or submit a help desk ticket. Any of the above. I would just love to introduce you, because if eventually I'm just going to start reintroducing people I've introduced, just so I have something to do, because I really like doing it. And that's the end of what I'm going to say. But thank you all. And this is the QR code you can follow. I've been talking long enough, hopefully, that everybody's had a chance to take a picture of it if you wanted to. And as always, I will put a link, if you don't have a QR camera, in the chat before the end of the meeting. That's it. Back to you, Bengie.
Hey, thank you, John. Are we seeing my agenda now?
No.
Okay. All right, well, I'll turn it over to Kevin Nicholes for some questions, for some Q&A.
Hey, so just want to, for those of you who weren't present or do not recall from our last V3 implementation call, we've made some changes to the Zoom here. You'll notice that the link is new. That started last week. We're also no longer have a public chat option. However, we do have a Q&A function that we're using. We're going to use it just like the chat. It's at the bottom of your screen under Q&A, or if you don't see Q&A, click the 3 dots for more. You'll see Q&A there. You'll type in a question. And just to remind you, all questions will be answered or passed through. We're not censoring anyone's content other than for anything inappropriate or nefarious. So all of those, like, to reiterate, type in your question in the Q&A section and treat it. You can treat it kind of like the chat. It is monitored by members of the TAC, and we're going to pass through any comments that are made. Members of the TAC do have access to the actual chat, and so what we'll be doing, that's where we'll be putting like links, anything that we need to share. You should be able to see the chat, but how you'll interact with us to start with is with a Q&A session. We don't want to inhibit any collaboration, but we also want to protect our stakeholders. So that's how we're going to be utilizing that. And as of right now, all cameras and microphones will be turned off as well. If you have any questions, put in the Q&A session. If you have any comments about this process, feel free to put in a help desk ticket or shoot me an email. So with that being said, I'll turn it back over to you, Bengie.
Okay. Thank you, Kevin. And now I'll pass it over to Casey to provide some updates to the change review committee.
All right, thank you, Bengie. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for attending. So we change review committee met last week. Did approve 5 changes. There was 1 denied. So we'll be reaching out to to the stakeholders that submitted those changes to give them the updates, and the 5 changes that were approved will be entered into the NEMPUB for everyone to be able to view and give their input. I'll share a link in the chat here so everybody is able to access the NEMPUB. Anyone who does leave comment in there, please remember we ask for constructive comment. Yeah, and that's all I have for at the moment, Benji.
Okay, thank you, Casey. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to reach out through our help desk. The next topic is for me, it's about the state implementation timelines that were posted on our website. If you have not already done so, please open up a help desk ticket to provide your dates for the changed for the implementation timelines. Let me see if I can screen share really quickly this. Okay, if you go to, for example, if we look at California, and scroll all the way down, they have provided their implementation timeline dates, and they have been updated on our website. And for other states who have not provided their state implementation timeline dates, there aren't any dates provided, so it'll just be a blank space or a blank area with no dates provided. So if you have not already done so, please open up a help desk ticket and send it to us. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out through the help desk. Now I will turn it over to Amanda for the compliance testing update and tracking page.
Thank you, Benji. Good morning. Okay, give me just a second here. Okay, so you should be seeing the website. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. All right, so I just wanted to give you all a quick tour of the NEMSIS website compliance page. So when you're on nemsis.org, you're going to go to the Technical Resources tab up at the top, and then you'll find the compliance software testing status. So from here, you can change the NEMSIS version, and you can find your vendor breakout list. But what I really want to show you is down here. So we've got receive and process, and then collect and send is down below. This is where we track all of the recertification due dates. So I want to draw your attention to the critical patch testing here. So you can see the 7 vendors that have already completed the critical patch testing. Kudos and thank you. And just a reminder to everybody, critical patch compliance is due by July 10th. So this is a firm deadline, and you will go on probation if the testing isn't completed by then. So if you haven't already, please begin the process as soon as possible, and we can get everything done by that deadline. So if you're testing for just the critical patch, you can do that through the help desk. You'll just open a ticket and we'll get everything done through the help desk. If you need to complete full testing, you'll want to open an application on the website like normal. So you can do that by going to the technical resources again, and then just through the general compliance page, and your application form is just going to be right here. And before I move on to the next topic, I just want to give a shout out to Biospatial for being our first vendor to complete version 351 testing. Congratulations, you guys. That's awesome. Okay, so the next topic is proposed vendor contact list. So we've heard from the states that they're requesting a contact list for all the vendors. And to support this, we're compiling a list using the Contact Us sections from your websites. So if you'd like to include a different contact or an additional one, go ahead and submit a help desk ticket, and we'll make sure that your information is added to the list. And that's all for me, Benji. Thanks.
Thank you, Amanda. I will pass it over to Jen for the next 2 topics from the NEMSIS tax staffing change and updating state data set for critical patch.
Good morning, everyone. So the first topic is the staffing change. Many of you may have already heard this is my last week here at the NEMSIS Technical Assistance Center. I have taken a position I've gone back to Global Medical Response, and I will be their EMS data manager there at Global Medical Response. I can't say enough about what a great team the NEMSIS team is. I have worked with some of the kindest, nicest, and smartest people in my 3+ years here with the NEMSIS TAC. We have taken the duties that I was doing, the tasks that I had, and the projects that I had, and we have split them up among the team. So please, your best bet is going to be opening up a help desk ticket for anything that you need the TAC to do. This makes sure that you can, that your ticket will be assigned to the correct person. If someone is out, if someone is sick, if someone, just for some reason, I'm not sure who's sharing, but we can see Copilot. And so, but just opening up your help desk is going to be the best way to go about doing it, right? The help desk is a fantastic way also that we're using to track. And for your states that submit your state resources that were previously being emailed in, we are going to adjust the weekly email so that the verbiage shows that we really do want that to be submitted through the help desk itself. It's super simple. You go to the help desk. The third option down is state offices of EMS. And one of the items is submitting state resources. That way that will be assigned to the correct person who is updating that specific resource, and nothing will get missed and will still get posted. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. The help desk is open 24 hours a day, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. And I just really do want to say I have appreciated my time here at the TAC and appreciated working with all of you. I will still be in EMS and EMS data. I will just be serving a different role. And I look forward to impacting the EMS industry like we always have. I think that the camaraderie that we have with all of the stakeholders has been indispensable. And I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you very, very much. So the second item that we have is about the critical patch and the state data set. So we received a couple of questions from vendors and from a couple of states about whether or not they need to update the state data set for the critical patch. It is not required. You do not have to update your state data set to implement the critical patch, but it is the best practice to update your state data set. So that way you're letting your agencies and the vendors who operate within your state know what it is that you would like them to collect and how you would like them to approach it. So that is just a tool that will assist in that. It will not break anything if you don't. It's just a good idea. And that is it for me. I will go ahead and pass it back to you, Bengie.
Okay, thank you so much, Jen. And we've talked internally. You will be missed. Thank you for all that you've done for the TAC. The next two topics are for Randall to discuss the National EMS ID custom elements and the 3 new blood custom elements. Randall?
All right, Benji, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. So the first topic here is the National EMS ID. Just a quick review of what the National EMS ID is. The EMS ID is a random 12-digit number with no relevance other than identifying the individual clinician. The NREMT will issue an EMS ID to anyone who creates an NREMT account. The NREMT issues EMS ID to anyone who's created the NREMT account. The individual does not need to be nationally certified. Everyone who has ever been nationally certified or created this account already has an EMS ID. And if you happen to be a state that does not, or a clinician that does not, the NREMT will work with the state or the clinician to determine the right solution to generate an EMS ID for all their licensed clinicians in the state. This may be through an API connection or just another mechanism that the NREMT will have for you. I have worked closely with the NREMT on this project with the data managers, the NEMSIS TAC, making sure that everyone was aligned. And they are actually trying to put out a one-page flyer on some of the benefits of using this national EMS ID number. So just a quick review for everyone. The first one here is eCrew 901. It's the national EMS ID associated with the crew member. This number must be 12 characters and it's issued by NREMT. It's available for all EMS personnel. The number is populated from D personnel 901, which is the next element we will go over for the licensure system. And this is not the same number as the National Registry. And so the next one here is the demographic element, the national EMS ID associated with the personnel. Once again, this number needs to be 12 characters. It's issued by the NREMT. And this number is also used to auto-populate the eCrew 901. This way the crew member doesn't have to remember their number. They can just remember their name and select it from there. And then the last slide here is actually just more of an update. While we were working on this project, we had noticed the definition of D personnel 28, the National Registry number associated with the level of certification or licensure obtained through NREMT. And the correction there is that the NREMT does not issue a license. So I have submitted a help desk ticket to have the definition updated. Next one here is the national custom elements for the pre-hospital blood transfusion. So there was kind of a problem identification statement that came out, and it was the National EMS database queries of e-medication blood transfusion by county was discordant with the local level EMS data. So we kind of looked at this at all three levels, at the national level, using the EMS database identification of blood transfusion SNOMED CT codes that are being documented under e-medications 03. If we remember in the previous version, 3.4, you were not able to document the SNOMED CT code under e-medications 03. At the state level, I kind of identified this as like a larger project that they've been working on of just data missingness, making sure that we're not missing any data, just from the state level to the national level. And then lastly, kind of looking at the local level services, how are they documenting a blood transfusion? Was it a custom ePCR worksheet, module, their own custom elements, or were they just missing some zip codes or other elements that weren't making the data go through? Just a reminder here about the, why e-medications. So e-medications was allowing us to, the route, the dosage units, medications, and any complication. This really kept us from having to create a bunch of additional custom elements possibly under the procedures. That's why it was selected here. And then next we have just the list of we'll have the three new national custom elements that have been created. The first one here is e-medications 905, blood product unit number, and it's the unit number or donor identification, the DIN of the blood being transfused. It's a federally required unique identifier that allows hospitals and blood banks to know exactly where a blood donation came from. It should have a maximum length of 13. Next one here is e-medications 906, the blood donor type or ABO, and it's the blood type of the blood being transfused. There you see a list of A, B, AB, or O. And the last one is the RH factor. So e-medications 907 or the blood donor RH factor, the RH factor of the blood being transfused. And there you have the option of selecting as a negative or positive. There are other national custom elements for blood being considered now with the Data Managers Council. I believe we have that next step to be approved, and we'll just continue to work on them as we need to. This is a QR code. This will just lead you to the national custom element list on the NEMSIS website. And I'm here for any questions or comments anyone has.
Okay. Well, thank you, Randall. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to Randall or reach out via our help desk. So if Monet is ready, I will turn it over for the next two topics for the monthly report and the NEMSIS annual meeting.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for your patience. Hello. I hope you're having a beautiful, spring day? Let's get started with the monthly report. So we produce a monthly report that is a high-level overview of some of the activities that we're currently working on The way you can find the report is to view reports. It's under public reports, and then it's the NEMSIS monthly report. Currently, we have the April report listed here, and you can certainly take a look at that. We will have the May report completed by the end of this week, and so that report will be posted as soon as it's ready. But this is a great way for you to get a high-level overview of activities that the NEMSIS TAC is working on. This is also a great resource for you to share with maybe someone who's new to your office who doesn't quite have a handle on the NEMSIS TAC or the NEMSIS standard. And also, if you were on vacation for some time out of the country and you just want to get refreshed on some of the things that we're working on, this is a great way for you to get caught up on things that we're working on. The first thing you'll notice here is we have a posting about our annual meeting. And so I'm going to go ahead and actually get out of this report so I can show you exactly how to find that information on our website. You can always go back to the home page, and I believe it's the second bullet here in the hero slider. Then you'll go ahead and click on the picture itself. And here we have this big red button that says register now. Now, one of the things I want to mention is that the NEMSIS annual meeting is a great opportunity for us to dive deeper into the standard. It's also a wonderful opportunity for us to connect with one another, people who love pre-hospital EMS documentation and how to share the data. So we really encourage you to take advantage of this great opportunity. This is one of the most reasonably priced national EMS meetings that I have seen to date. Also, I want to mention that we're about 90 days out from the meeting, so we really do encourage you to get your registration taken care of soon. That way you can take advantage of the great early bird fee that we have for you. One other thing I want to mention, I'm just going to go ahead and click on the registration portal right now. I really would like to mention that we are hosting this event at the Sheraton Park City. And we really need the registrations or the reservations to also be held at the Sheraton Park City. So if you could help us out and go ahead and take care of your hotel reservations, that would be really appreciated. We are about 30 days out from the expiration date. So the Sheraton guest rate that we have will expire on July 25th. So we really encourage you to go ahead and take advantage of that great rate that they have supplied for us. Here are your options here. The in-person registration is the best opportunity. It's the best way that you're going to really feel engaged. And so we really encourage you to take advantage of that. If you're unable to attend and you need to attend virtually, we do have a virtual option for the EPCR user group forum and for the data managers forum. And this will only be for Tuesday. So if you want to see what's happening and hear what's happening on Wednesday and Thursday, you will need to be in person for that. Let me just mention that this says 0 here, but it's only because we have several pricing structures done under this particular early bird discount. So for instance, if you choose an option here, you'll see that we're asking the advisory board members to register. You have all your sessions Tuesday through Friday, and then we just have a Wednesday and Thursday session if you're able to take advantage of that. Okay, the other thing that I want to mention briefly, I'm going to actually go back to this page here. This home page, or sorry, the landing page for the annual meeting, we have introduced something called lightning rounds. The thing that I would love to mention is that the lightning rounds, we were anticipating that we would have several applications come in, and that has not been the case. So we're going to change gears a little bit, and we are actually going to restructure the meeting. On Tuesday, we had designed a session where we could have lightning rounds discussed on Tuesday. But what we're going to do instead is we're going to move lightning round session to the very end of the day, right before the welcome session or the welcome reception. And that way, vendors will have an opportunity to have a table, and anyone who wants to visit that table can actually go and talk to the specific vendor. We hope that you like this idea better and that you can still have your lightning round presentations during that time. But we're trying to really have an engaging experience where everyone feels like they can speak and be heard. And so we're going to actually make that change on the next update of the agenda. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing and ask if there are any questions at this time. Okay, I thank you so much for your time. Have a blessed rest of your day.
Monet, there's a question from Cherie with NEMSIS asking if they can still submit. I believe this is in relation to the lightning rounds.
Yes, we would love to see more applications come in. And one of the things we really want to do is we want to talk about the NEMSIS standard as a whole. We also want to talk about research, anything that's related to research that's been published or research that you're currently working on. We're looking for, we don't want to necessarily open up the opportunity for specific discussions about specific software. So we are trying to narrow the scope, I guess, a little bit, tighten the parameters. So if you could talk about the NEMSIS standard as it relates to what you're doing in your service, in your area, or research, those are the type of things that we're looking for at this time. Thanks for the question, and I hope that answers for you, Ms. Cherie. And I will also just go ahead and add the link to the chat so that you all have it right in front of you. We would love to see a few more registrations come in today. So this is just a gentle reminder that we're about 90 days out from the annual meeting. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, Monet. Now we will turn it over to Jeremy Kinsman with the NHTSA Office of EMS for some updates.
Thanks, Bengie. Can you hear and see me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Jeremy Kinsman with the NHTSA Office of EMS. I'm going to give a similar update to the one I shared, I guess, about 2 weeks ago during the V3 implementation call, since I think many of you were attending the NEMSIS annual meeting at that time. First, I just want to start with staff. Most people are working, but Amy and Dave, who were in our Office of EMS, their last day with NHTSA was Wednesday, April 30th. So with Eric's departure, I've kind of stepped into the role of the NEMSIS program manager for the NHTSA Office of EMS. As all of you know, Eric, he left some very big shoes to fill. He advanced the NEMSIS program, I think, in ways that few people really thought possible. And he really fostered kind of strong collaborative relationships with many of you. So he was deeply committed to being accessible, whether that was to our vendors, our state partners, our other EMS stakeholders. And so I just want to let you all know I'm committed to continuing that same level of open communication. So please don't hesitate to reach out to me or our office anytime you have questions, concerns, or ideas. Just real briefly, a little bit about my background. I first came to NHTSA back in 2015. I was here as a public health fellow for several years, and then I went to the Yale School of Medicine, where I worked with some emergency medicine faculty there on research and clinical quality measure projects. And then I came back to NHTSA as a Fed in 2022. Since then, I've been leading up our office's research and analytics initiatives. And so I'll continue to do some of that work while also serving as the federal program manager for NEMSIS. just a few quick updates from our office. First, I want to thank you all for your partnership on the recent critical patches related to the President's executive orders on patient sex. I think we understand that each state kind of operates under its own rules and regulations, and that agencies take direction from their state leadership on this issue. So the NEMSIS TAC in our office, we're really grateful for your collaboration in identifying a path forward that supports kind of our national consistency while also respecting state-specific needs and requirements. Also, some exciting news you may have heard at the National Safety Council's Road to Zero 2025 annual meeting. Our acting chief counsel for NHTSA, Peter Simshauser, was appointed by the president. He announced that our Office of EMS at NHTSA is partnering with the Department of Defense on a $30 million investment to establish pre-hospital blood transfusion demonstration programs across the country. So our goal is to create at least 25 demonstration sites over the next 3 years. The purpose of those demonstration programs is to kind of support research and development, specifically aimed at expanding access, but also kind of will give us an opportunity to rigorously kind of evaluate the impact of pre-hospital blood transfusion programs on survival outcomes for motor vehicle crash patients. So one important piece of information, these are not going to be like grant-funded programs in the traditional sense. Sites are not going to be selected through like a competitive grant application process. But instead, NHTSA and DoD, we're going to be working together to define like a set of criteria for identifying demonstration sites. I think importantly for us, kind of in the data space, is that both NHTSA and DOT leadership, they recognize that the NEMSIS program and the data that you all contribute is really vital to the success of this effort. So, and I think we're also really hopeful that the evaluation of these demonstration programs is going to kind of build a case for additional support and resources from NHTSA, DOT, and our federal partners to kind of sustain and expand these pre-hospital blood transfusion efforts in the future. I'd also like to invite you to join us for a pre-hospital blood transfusion summit that'll be hosted by our Federal Interagency Committee on EMS, or FICOMS. That's going to be Wednesday, June 11th. So in just a couple weeks, it's going to be from noon until 4 p.m. Eastern. It's a virtual event. We're going to be bringing together, experts, EMS leaders, policymakers to kind of share information on the latest research, talk about some of the new standards for transfusion programs, and kind of explore innovations. And so I will, when I'm done here, I'll add a virtual registration link to the Zoom Q&A. If you're interested in attending, please register. And then just finally, on behalf of NHTSA, I'd like to just extend my sincere thanks to Jen Correa for all her outstanding contributions to the NEMSIS TAC over the past several years. I think, her expertise, dedication, and collaborative approach to advancing the data standard has really been instrumental in the continued growth and kind of success of the NEMSIS program. And so while this is her with the TAC, and I think we're really excited to know that we'll be able to continue working with her as she begins her new chapter with GMR. So thanks, Jen. And thank you again, everyone, for your time today. I look forward to working more closely with all of you. And please don't hesitate to reach out to me or anyone in the Office of EMS if there's anything we can do for you. Thanks. With that, I'll hand it back to you, Bengie.
All right. Thank you, Jeremy. Before we move on to open forum, the next implementation call dates are listed below. And the next public training is June 3rd. The topic is NERIS. It's about a NERIS update. So if you do not have if you have not joined our mailing list, please open up a help desk ticket so you can make sure to receive the link for the public training. So now we'll move on to open forum. If you have any questions, please post them in the Q&A chat feature below on your screen. Okay, I see some questions are being answered. If you do have questions that were not answered during our call, as we mentioned, please open up a help desk ticket and we'll do our very best to answer those questions for you. Now we will move out and move over to our breakout rooms. This week is a green week. Let's see. So vendors that are listed in the breakout rooms below will be will have to stay on the call and join their breakout sessions. Chris, are we ready to go to the breakout room?
Hey, Benji, if I could just remind everybody, this
Okay.
is the state RMP vendors meeting. So as a vendor, if you join one of the RMP vendors rooms, please remember to announce yourself so that they know that you are there. You are allowed to ask them if you can ask a couple of questions during the receive and process week, which is the green week. But we do ask that you let them know that you're there. The NEMSIS TAC members that are in each of the rooms will be monitoring you. If there's a name we don't recognize, we may ask you to update your name while you're in the room. And that's just to honor our vendors who are, taking part in the breakout sessions and actively trying to allow additional means of communication during these breakout sessions, what they need to run their rooms properly. So everyone have a great Wednesday, and I'll see you in the breakout room.
Okay, thank you, Jen.